Hello my mellow fellows, or should I say my glamorous gingerbreads, and happy holidays to everyone! Last year for Christmas, I covered A Plight Before Christmas on my channel. It's a good video and is still very much worth watching. This year, I put up a poll asking what episodes you wanted me to cover. It was close, but the episode, The Last Gingerbread House on the Left, won. And I must say I was slightly surprised by this. I didn't expect this one to win, but I'm not complaining. I love this episode, so this should be a fun Christmas video to add to the channel. So sit back, relax, and warm up your mugs as we talk about the famous gingerbread competition episode. This episode starts 1 week before Christmas. Linda is getting ready for bed, while Bob is freaking out over the kids' extravagant Christmas list.
Binders, Lynn. They put them in binders this year. I think we need to explain to them what pour means.
I'm not going to lie, a binder full of stuff is crazy work. I would be freaking out too. Linda tells him to relax and to not put so much pressure on the both of them. After all, it's not like the kids are expecting to get a binder full of stuff for Christmas, but that doesn't help Bob's anxiety around Christmas.
It's just sometimes this holiday makes me feel like I'm a failure.
Hey, you kiss Santa with that mouth? Come on.
This dynamic between them is something that we talked about a lot on my channel. Bob has a lot of anxieties about failing, not just with his business, but failing as a husband and a father. His anxieties make him see things more pessimistically. On the other hand, we have Linda, who is an optimistic person. While Bob is freaking out about what he can't do for his kids, Linda is more focused on what she can do for the kids. It's an example of Linda having to ground Bob when he's spiraling in self-loathing. Linda tries her best to keep the morale up because after all, it's Christmas.
We'll do all we can and it'll be fine. Besides, you know what the greatest gift of all is? Family.
You say that to the kids with a straight face.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying it out.
Linda said that the kids will be fine. They know Christmas isn't all about presents. Which I don't know whose kids she's talking about because most kids are absolutely focused on presents, especially her kids.
Christmas presents countdown now at 6 days, 10 hours, 35 minutes.
Oh my god.
The kids are obviously excited about Christmas and counting down to the day, which makes Bob even more nervous. Linda comes back to the store with light up Christmas necklaces. She took this as a sign that this year is the year that their family goes Christmas caroling. Teddy was excited, Bob was reluctant, and the kids weren't really into the idea.
We're just not those kind of people. I mean, those people get their clothes dry cleaned, they floss.
You know, honkies.
Well, count this honky in.
Linda tries her best to encourage the family to want to go caroling. She imagines them going to a nice street in the suburbs, singing to the houses with pretty lights, and getting cocoa from people as a thank you. I've never personally went caroling, but if you have, comment your experience with it. Like, what's that like? The kids weren't that into it at first, but when they heard hot cocoa was involved, they changed their minds real quick.
Hot cocoa? A vida mocha?
I call it naughty mud.
I just call it hot cocoa. I didn't know you had cool names for it.
Also, have you noticed that when it comes to TV shows, that it's usually moms who are always the ones pushing for family fun activities in these TV shows? And the dads are kind of just there. Moms really set the tone for the holidays in TV shows. Linda is always encouraging the family to do family activities and try new things. The family tends to not want to do her ideas, but her ideas are what creates family memories in the first place. Memories that the kids will look back on later in life with a more grateful lens. Sure, going out caroling in the cold can be an annoying task, but you can now say, hey, remember that time we went caroling together? And it's all because of Linda encouraging her family to get out instead of sitting around the house all day. Anyways, the kids are aboard now because of the hot cocoa. They then turn their attention to the news, where they're showing Amity, the albino polar bear cub. Amity was a polar bear born in the Bog Harbor Zoo recently. Amity is a local darling, and is being called the Christmas miracle of the season. Amity is adored by everyone, including the kids.
Amity makes non-albino polar bear cubs look like a sick joke.
Ugh, he's so cute, it disgusts me.
We fast forward to later where everyone's getting ready to go caroling, and of course they are joined by Teddy.
Teddy, looking good.
Yup, it's a shame I can only wear this sweater 4 months out of the year.
Bob then gets a phone call, which is unusual for this time of night. He answered it and it's Mr. Fishodor. Mr. Fishodor has a strange request for Bob to deliver food to his house. He's having a party, but he claims that it's nothing weird. He doesn't even make a proper order, he just said bring food. Bob tells Mr. Fishodor that he can't because he's about to go caroling with his family, which just confuses Mr. Fish.
Actually, I'm about to go caroling with my family, so...
What? Why? Never mind. Bob, I don't want to play the landlord card here, but actually I do.
Oh, okay. How much food do you need?
Oh, I don't know. Just bring 5 or 6 foods.
The next big character videos I'm working on are involving the Fishodor brothers. And Calvin's family is something that comes up quite a bit in the show. but this episode is one that really highlights Calvin's struggle with understanding familial bonds. Calvin has a family, but it's not the same loving, close-knit family the Belchers have. Calvin's family is more chaotic and money-driven and filled with things like competition, jealousy, and money over morals. But Calvin struggles with understanding Bob's desire to be with his family on the holidays because his family never prioritized spending time together or bonding. Anyways, Bob tells the family what's going on and definitely found it weird that Mr. Fishoder had to clarify that it was nothing weird.
Ugh, it's definitely a human sacrifice party.
Or a sensual grown-up party.
Dad, you need a Venetian mask and a thong. Stat.
Stop it.
Linda was disappointed because she wanted Bob to go caroling with them. Bob suggested to just drop off the burgers and they could go afterwards. But the kids were convinced that he was in fact getting sacrificed.
You're getting sacrificed.
Oh, Bob'd be great at getting sacrificed. He's got the body for it.
We later see that Bob is pulling up and dropping off food for the party. Felix answers the door and asks for the password, but Bob wasn't really trying to play those games. He just wanted to get in and get out.
It's Bob. I'm just here to drop off some food.
That's not it.
Felix, let me in.
Okay, fine. But if anyone asks, you totally knew the password was pee-pee-poo-poo-1-2-3-4.
I talked about Calvin a bit, but Felix is somehow even worse than him. Mr. Fishoder already has low empathy, but at the very least, he's more reasonable and sensible. Felix is the less mature, if you can imagine, and more emotionally reactive brother. Felix has a lot of inferiority complexes when it comes to his brother. Calvin just seems better at everything to Felix, and Calvin is rather dismissive of Felix in general. But to be honest, he has a reason to be dismissive. Felix is kind of incompetent. Felix's ideas tend to be unfocused, ill-prepared, and downright ridiculous. Felix always prioritizes his whims and wants over responsibility or practicality. He doesn't think anything through, especially when it comes to turning a profit. So of course, out of the two of them, Calvin is more successful because at the very least, he's more business-minded than Felix ever is. Of course, Calvin isn't a very moral businessman, but that's an entirely separate thing. Anyways, as we'll see later, these issues that Felix has with Calvin is something that would come up in this episode in particular. Felix brings Bob down to the dungeon, which is also called the basement. Not a huge red flag at all.
Oh God, please don't be something horrible. Oh, they're gonna cover me with candy and eat me.
But thankfully, Bob wasn't there to be sacrificed or eaten. That will come in a different episode. He was actually here as a guest to a very exclusive secret club.
Welcome to the Gingerbread Gentleman's Annual Gingerbread House Competition.
Bob was rightfully confused. He was just here to drop off food. But Mr. Fishoder played it off like Bob was joking.
You're always doing that confused food delivery man business. Whatever. And I get why. It's hysterical.
Obviously, Mr. Fishoder was up to no good. This is what happens when you have too much money and too much time on your hands. You get into ridiculous shenanigans with people like Calvin. Mr. Fishoder brings Bob to the back so that he could get dressed in his tuxedo for the event. When they were alone, Bob asked what was going on. Mr. Fishoder promptly throws out Bob's food in front of him and asks how he was at building gingerbread houses.
Well, actually, not bad. My mom and I used to build them together before she died. It was kind of our thing.
Yeah. Okay. Forget about all that.
Mr. Fishoder wasn't trying to hear any of that sentimental stuff. He was on a mission. Bob's relationship with his mom is something that we have talked about on this channel before in the Why Bob Loves Linda video, I believe. And later we will circle back to this whole him building gingerbread houses with his mom thing in a little bit. But for now, let's just focus on the gingerbread competition. So Mr. Fishoder's plan was for Bob to enter the competition and lose. Bob was confused on why he would do that. Apparently every year, Mr. Fishoder loses the gingerbread building competition, and he wants Bob to enter and lose so that he doesn't have to be the loser this year. Bob tries to get out of it, but Mr. Fishoder had him quartered in the basement. Bob then asks why Felix can't just join and lose instead, but there's a rule that only the eldest child of each founding family is allowed to compete. Apparently this is a generational game, so Felix is not allowed. And you'll see throughout this episode how bitter Felix is about this rule. The only reason Bob is allowed to compete is because the host can pick a guest to compete, and this year, Mr. Fishoder is the host who gets to pick.
Generally, they're a lot richer and cleaner than you, but I only had this idea a couple of hours ago, so, well, here we are.
So not only is Calvin setting up this scheme, a scheme that he probably set up with Todd to come at him with the BS, but he's also forcing Bob to participate in this competition and wants Bob to lie about being a rich friend of his. Bob tells Mr. Fishodor that he can't because again, he's going caroling with his family, which Mr. Fishodor does not like.
You keep saying that. It's so strange.
So to sweeten the deal, Mr. Fishodor offered to give Bob free rent next month. And of course, that's what made Bob interested in this whole thing.
We could use the money to get better Christmas presents for the kids.
That's not what I'd do, but sure.
We know that Bob was worried over how he was going to afford nice Christmas presents this year, something I think a lot of parents can relate to this time of year. And having a month of free rent could be the financial relief he needs to make Christmas special for his kids. So Bob agrees to do this, and Mr. Fishodor is thrilled.
And you're okay with being killed when you lose?
What?
Oh, I'm just kidding. Or am I? I am.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past Mr. Fishodor to kill somebody. His group be getting into some pretty crazy activities when they're together. Bob goes outside to tell everybody what was going on. He fills Linda in on the deal he was offered. Linda was a little disappointed because she wanted his soprano voice for their songs, but Bob tells her that they'll get the next month free and they can use that money for Christmas presents.
And we can use that money to buy you-know-whats for the you-know-whos.
Who are the you-know-whos?
Yeah, who are they?
The kids wanted to go watch Bob do the gingerbread competition, but Bob told them no and told them to go caroling with their mom, though Teddy was more than happy to fill in for Bob.
Kids, I want you to know I'm not trying to replace your father while we're caroling, but if you so choose, you may call me Caroling Dad.
Thanks, Teddy.
So Linda, Teddy, and the kids are going caroling while Bob tries to pull off this insane scam with Mr. Fishodor.
Good luck losing, Dad. You're in your element.
Mr. Fishodor dresses Bob in a tux and prepares him for his role in this little charade. One of the rules of this competition is if your house falls, you're disqualified. So he tells Bob to just build a house that's very tall and unstable, that's guaranteed to collapse. That way, he'll be a loser, and for once, Mr. Fishodor won't be in last place. The judge would be this guy named Godfrey, an old man who's been judging this competition since it was founded.
Is he alive?
It's a good question. Let's find out. Godfrey! There he is.
We're then introduced to some of Mr. Fishodor's friends that we do see come back in future episodes. We have Augie, Randolph, and Samuel Suberbottom.
I like my houses like I like my women, sturdy and ginger.
You know, about that ginger thing, I don't know if I ever said this, but I had a major thing for Oz and Buffy. It was the red hair combined with the alternative style. I wonder what that says about me. I bet if you go through all my videos, you can make a list of the random people that I found attractive and profile me. Actually, don't do that though. I don't want to be called out. But Oz was absolutely one of my childhood crushes for some reason. I don't know why. Don't ask me nothing. And speaking of introductions, Felix also has something to add.
Bob, as you know, I'm Felix, and I'm not jealous of you at all. Isn't that nice?
Mr. Fishodor told Bob to put his gun on the gun table so that they can get started, but obviously Bob didn't have any.
I didn't bring any guns.
No guns. Okay, interesting.
Before they can start, the guys remind Calvin that he has to put on the loser hat before they get started. Because he lost last year, he had to wear an old bedpan. So basically he had to wear this thing every year. And looking at it, I can honestly see why he felt the need to cheat. The Belcher family is walking around Mr. Fishodor's neighborhood, checking out the houses and the Christmas lights. They stumble across one house that's all bleak and non-decorated. And of course, Teddy, our town historian, knows all the stories and rumors surrounding that place.
I've heard crazy stories about the guy that lives there. Stories not suitable for children.
Like what, Teddy?
Okay, I'll tell you.
I said this in my Teddy Part 2 video, but he really does know every rumor that goes on in this town. Teddy says that this guy put up bed sheets to hide his evil deeds from the world, which is probably murder. Teddy speculated the guy murdered his parents, a delivery man, and he also speculated that he buries everyone he kills in the backyard.
Murder, 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 murder! Hello, sir! Murder!
All right, Teddy, you convinced me. Let's go there.
No, what? The murder part!
Linda tells him to stop with the murder stories because it's ruining the Christmas vibe. So they went to start their caroling journey. Back to the competition, the guys are building their houses and roasting Calvin a bit, aka throwing ginger booms at him. He's pretending to laugh, but you can tell he really hates it. Meanwhile, Felix is on frosting duty, also hating every moment of it. Calvin tries to turn the attention to Bob instead and do a few ginger booms himself, but he's not really good at it.
Look at Bob. In general, I mean, that's bad, right? His whole deal. Ugh.
Okay.
Bob ignores him and asks everybody what their plans were for Christmas. One guy plans to literally buy an island and flip it. One guy is getting his cash waxed and washed. And the last guy is,
I'm going to treat myself to a new penis.
Okay.
You know, I'm starting to think that Linda was right.
Rich people run funny. Must be all the money in their pockets. Or it's their big, rich, golden wieners. It's probably their wieners.
Bob asked if anyone was spending their holidays with their families, and the answer was a universal hell no.
No way.
Nope.
Wait, what about your brother Felix?
Oh, right, him.
Poor Felix was forgotten about, and he's literally 2 feet away. Speaking of Felix, he tried to join in, but was quickly kicked right back out the group.
I have this extra plate under my arm. Maybe I could just join you guys.
Felix, no.
All right, here I go.
The energy between them is giving, you can go, but you have to take your little brother with you. Only your little brother is a grown-ass man. The guys were talking about how excited they were to win the prize, a prize that Bob didn't know about. The guys all chipped in and made a super large donation to the zoo. In return, they got a private cuddle session with Amity, the albino polar bear, the bear we talked about earlier. And the winner of that competition gets to have a private cuddle session for themselves. Bob thought the prize sounded perfect for his kids. After all, they were just gushing about this bear earlier that day.
Wow, my kids would love that.
Why?
Because kids love baby animals.
I don't think that's right.
But they do.
Mr. Fish Odor told the guys not to pay attention to Bob and tried to ginger boom him.
He's not smart, Ginger Boom. He's also pear-shaped, Ginger Boom. If a pear could be dumb and bad at things.
We go back to the rest of the Belcher family and they're caroling for some random guy. When they were done, he just said thank you and tried to end this entire interaction. Jade asked for some hot cocoa, but the guy didn't have any.
Damn it! We don't have any caroling for you, pal.
Well, I mean, you already did it.
Oh, did we? Yeah, we did.
They move on to another house, and they also wanted the interaction to end after the song was over. Linda invited them to join them and sing, but the lady did not want to and closed the door on them. They tried one more house and the same thing happened yet again, but Linda was not having it this time.
Join our Christmas crusade!
I just want to shut this on you.
Sugar plums!
Again, I don't know the protocol for caroling, but this definitely seems rough. Back with the guys, they're in competition mode, arguing about who has too many of this ingredient, who's hogging what, and etc. While everyone's making pretty impressive and creative gingerbread houses, Mr. Fishoder was not doing very well.
So you're just sticking peppermints everywhere then?
Yeah, it's some ornamental filigree.
I can see why he loses. He has a distinct lack of creativity or vision. Poor guy, he did not stand a chance. The other guys are just so much better. On the other hand, Samuel complimented Bob on his gingerbread scoring. They were impressed with his gingerbread skills.
Gotta be firm but gentle.
Show us.
Okay.
I don't think that's necessary.
Potty hit shush.
While the guys were admiring Bob's skill, Mr. Fishoder was getting upset by the attention Bob was commanding in the room. Something that I always liked about Bob is his ability to fit in with all types of people, whether it be rich guys, bikers, trans nightwalkers, bronies, or other chefs. Bob fits in all types of groups no matter what, he just gets along with everybody. Even that group of dads that he was texting, they all really liked him. I guess when you're genuinely a good guy, you'll probably be well liked regardless of what group you're around. But Mr. Fishoder did not like this, so he decided to try and tear Bob down with more ginger booms.
And does your big fat belly get in the way, Bob?
No, it doesn't.
And what about your body odor, Bob? Do you find that distracting?
Okay, easy.
You smell like failure, like stinky failure farts.
Okay, that's it.
I think that is very telling that the insult that crossed the line for Bob was him saying that he smelled like failure. We all know that that's one of Bob's biggest insecurities in the entire show. The whole motivation for him doing the competition in the first place is because he felt like a failure as a parent for not being able to give his kids everything they want for Christmas. So to Bob, Calvin calling him a stinky failure was below the belt and taking things way too far, and probably genuinely hurt his feelings. There's a total difference between making playful, fun jabs at Bob like his family does, something that he's very used to, versus attacking him outright, and this was a genuine attack on him. And we all know that Bob does not take kindly to genuine disrespect. All because Mr. Fishoder was jealous of Bob's naturally likable personality. Bob takes Calvin to the kitchen and puts his foot down. He reminds him that he is doing him a very inconvenient favor, so he shouldn't treat him this way. But Calvin dismisses his rightful annoyance with his insult.
Can't handle my garbage mouth?
You mean trash talk?
Trash talk, garbage mouth, ginger booms, it's all the same thing. And it's part of the gingerbread game, Bob, so get used to it.
Bob at this point has had enough of Calvin. Not only did Calvin drag him to his house with food that he instantly threw away, he also made him miss out on family time time, and he made him put on a tux, gave him a fake identity, entered him in a competition, and on top of all of that, he tried to make him endure being constantly degraded in front of a whole group all night, all for a single month's rent. Honestly, I really think that this shows how Calvin thinks that he can just buy people off and treat them any kind of way. Calvin is the type of person who equates someone's worth with their social status. Calvin was raised to believe that he is naturally above lower class people, and Calvin is also used to paying people and treating them literally any kind of way. Look at his carnies, he pretty much doesn't pay them anything, treats them like trash, and because a lot of them are felons, they can't really do anything about it. But Bob is not the type of person to accept being treated like he's less than. So he decided that he's going to prove his worth to Mr. Fischodder right now.
I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna try to win this thing. My kids would love that polar bear cuddle. That would be an amazing Christmas present.
What? No, we have a deal.
The deal's off, Mr. Fishodder. Oh, and you know who's gonna lose this contest? You are, potty head. How's that for garbage mouth?
Pretty good, actually.
Honestly, I give Bob his 10s because he said what he said. Bob went out of his way to help Mr. Fishodder, even if it meant that he missed out on an evening with his family. Yes, Bob was getting something out of it too, a free month's rent. But he signed up to lose a contest, not to be degraded all night or be treated like that by someone that he kind of calls a friend. Bob had enough, and I'm glad he stood up for himself.
Augie, pass me the gumdrops.
Okay, you don't have to shout.
Bob is back in the competition, but this time he's trying to win. He starts his gingerbread house over, and he was locked in. The other guys were impressed by his bold choice to start over in the middle of the competition. Bob just says that he had a sudden inspiration and now he's in it to win it. And of course, Mr. Fishodder was not happy with this defiance and tried to sway Bob into backing off. But Bob was not budging.
Think about what you're doing, Bob.
I have thought about it.
Well, have you thought about this?
Ow! Stop pinching my thigh!
Stop putting your thigh between my fingers.
Back to the Belcher family. They were disappointed by the responses they were getting from the neighbors. Instead of being warmly greeted like they thought, the neighbors were not into the whole Christmas spirit. They were thinking about giving up and just going home, but Louise had an idea. Instead of going home, she wanted to check out the creepy serial killer house instead. At least they'd get something out of this caroling trip. Teddy was reluctant, but Louise insisted.
Doesn't anyone want to check out this crazy killer? I mean, bring Christmas spirit to this poor guy.
You're right. Okay, let's do it. But if we get murdered, don't tell your father.
Linda rings the doorbell and the guy answers the door with a knife in his hand. And of course, the whole family scatters and runs away. Because absolutely not. Back to the competition. Bob is trying to give himself a pep talk, trying to focus while Mr. Fishodder keeps messing with him.
You got this. Ow. A chance to give your kids the best Christmas ever. No pressure. Ow. Just ignore Mr. Fishodder. Ow.
Oh, is this not helpful?
The rest of the guys were also arguing about who took what ingredient. This person took too many candy canes. Another person took the last chocolate Santa. This competition was serious business.
There was one chocolate Santa left. I need him. I need chocolate Santa.
Oh, I may have eaten him?
You son of a bitch!
And that's that. The competition was over. Time to judge the houses. But before we do that, we go back to the family, who was hiding from the suspicious neighbor holding a knife.
Oh my god, this is how we die. I knew it was gonna be like this. I'm sorry.
Mom, you're great in a crisis.
They were found by the guy and they tried to run away from him again. But this time he apologized for scaring them and didn't want them to run away again. He had a knife because he was chopping hazelnuts for a winter salad. He recognized them as carolers and wanted them to sing for him.
You're carolers, right? I love carolers.
Love killing them or
what?
Nothing.
Gene wanted to leave, like a normal person with survival skills, but Linda stopped him and agreed to sing for the guy. They were all still very uneasy around him though, and I don't blame them.
A little closer.
Back to the competition, Godfrey was checking the houses and judging them. And honestly, everyone besides Mr. Fishodder did a really good job. The guys were arguing and blaming each other for eating Santas and taking candy canes. Tensions were high and names were being called. And of course, this verbal fight escalated and we got this.
Here we go. What's happening?
We're pointing guns at each other's gingerbread houses, obviously. Come on, Bob, keep up.
Where were you even hiding that?
Let's just say I have a high butt crack.
Turns out, no one put all their guns on the gun table. You see, this is the reason we have a gun table in the first place. We should have had security to pat everybody down. Because how all y'all sneaking guns? Every one of y'all? That's crazy. Mr. Fish Odor joined in and pointed his gun at Bob's house. And even Felix joined in to point at Calvin's house.
Felix, don't you grab a gun. We're having a moment here.
You think you're so great, Calvin, just because you came out of Mommy's hootenanny before me.
I'm sorry, but hootenanny is an insane word. An insane word that I love and will now start saying because I am easily influenced. Bob tries to defuse the situation, but he didn't make it any better.
Calm down. I mean, come on, it's just a stupid gingerbread house contest. What? Don't point at me. Back at the houses, back at the houses.
It's always something with this group of rich men. This time it's nearly getting shot, and later they almost ate Bob. I would not ever hang out with this group again, and under any circumstances. Back to the family, they sung their little song quickly and tried to leave immediately. But he stopped them and asked if they knew another song. He sang them a beautiful song that I do not know, but it sounded great. His voice enchanted the family, and his singing was used as a soundtrack to what was about to happen next over at the Fish Odor house. Augie agreed with Bob and said this whole thing was silly, but Mr. Fish Odor had other plans.
This is silly. We should put our guns away.
Yeah. Or counterpoint?
And just like that, bullets were flying everywhere. Everyone's house got shot up. Everything was being destroyed. Bob was ducking away from flying bullets and trying to save his life. And even Joffrey was joining in on the fun, just shooting the air, shooting the sky. It was a beautiful, chaotic mess that makes this episode so much fun to watch. The level of escalation that had to have happened to get to building gingerbread houses to shooting everything up is hilarious. But this type of escalation is beyond me. Never in my life had I want to shoot a dessert. How very un-American of me. I need to step my petty level up. I want to be so mad that I shoot up a cake for no reason. If they can do it, why can't I do it? Anyways, the family was impressed by his singing and he introduced himself as Oscar. And not only that, he offered them some hot cocoa. Finally, someone knew the proper protocol. After the shootout, they were taking in all the wreckage of their blind rage.
Finally happened. We finally shot up each other's gingerbread houses.
I'm honestly surprised it took until this year.
Bob was rightfully pissed that he got involved in this insane situation and went off on everybody in that room.
Thanks so much for inviting me to your competition, where I was almost a casualty in a gingerbread massacre.
Calm down.
Yeah, take a chill pill.
Listen to me very carefully. If someone ever, and I mean ever, told me to calm down, after that, I'd flip the whole goddamn table. Y'all got to shoot up the place, but I can't yell. That's taking it too far. The double standards is insane. He needs to chill. Look what y'all just did. Bob was so mad that he just flat out told the truth about who he really was and why he was actually here. Calvin tried to deny it at first, but when the guys admitted that his plan was actually pretty good, Calvin admitted the truth.
Every year I try, and every year a potty head. It's a lot of pressure.
Bob finally calms down a little bit and he tries to relate to Mr. Fish Odor and says that he also knows what it's like to be under pressure.
I'm under a lot of pressure myself, trying to figure out how to give my kids a good Christmas.
Oh, not that again. Please, Bob, I'm talking about real pressure.
Oh my God.
I am sick of Mr. Fish Odor. Mr. Fish Odor is so funny because of how out of touch he is. He's so oblivious to the struggles of everyday people that it's truly comically evil. Mr. Fish Odor never had to worry about money a day in his life, so he does not equate Bob's financial struggles to real struggles because he never had to struggle like that. Anyways, it turns out that Bob's house is the least destroyed, so Bob wins the competition by default. We love to see it. He deserves it. Bob doesn't win enough in this show for me. He needs every win he can get, and this is one of the good ones. This is one of the episodes where Bob actually gets a happy ending, and I'm proud of him. He deserves this. We go back to the family who's enjoying hot cocoa with Oscar. They tell him about the rumors surrounding his house, and it turns out that the guy wasn't scary at all. The only reason he had bed sheets over his windows was because he wanted to be frugal and creative. And Teddy wanted to act like he wasn't the one also spreading said rumors.
The rumor mill. People love to talk, you know, but they don't always have the facts. Tina, looking at you.
What?
How you gonna blame Tina for stuff you said, Teddy? Teddy is the king of telling rumors and legends, but all of a sudden now he wants to backtrack. Okay, if you're going to be a messy queen, at least own up to it. Linda complimented Oscar on his heavenly pipes, and she also concluded that he is not a murderer simply because of that.
Well, Oscar, anyone with a voice like yours can't be a murderer. And even if you are, you're still okay in my book.
So are you? I mean, you can tell us. We're cool.
No, I'm not.
Damn.
It reminds me of Elle Woods saying that happy people just don't shoot their husbands. That's the vibe that Linda's giving off. They invited Oscar to come caroling with them. He can fill the soprano role that they were missing from Bob's absence, and he gleefully agreed.
Great, but no killing us, okay? He's got a chainsaw. No, it's just his mug.
Back with the guys, Bob is surprised that he won the competition, and Mr. Fish Odor told him to stop gloating. But all Calvin cares about is that there's a three-way tie to last place, meaning they're all losers this year. Then they had the nerve, the audacity to blame Bob for them losing their temper.
This is all Bob's fault. He called the competition stupid, and I just went into a blind rage.
Same here. What you said was really hurtful, Bob.
Yeah, they're called feelings, Bob. Look it up.
I'm sorry, I call total BS. They were already mad before Bob said anything. Bob wasn't the one to reach into that guy's ass and take out a loaded shotgun. That man did it on his own free will. Bob was the only one trying to defuse the situation, so blaming him for this entire thing just seems like a cop-out. If anything, it was Calvin's fault for taking the first shot when everyone was ready to put the guns down. How are you gonna blame the only person who had no guns for you shooting up the place? The only reason Bob even called the competition stupid was because everyone took out guns over it. As Stacy will say, talk about it in chronological order. Getting mad at Bob's reaction to your insanity is top tier, top shelf level gaslighting, because I would have cussed every single one of them out in the room for their foolishness. Anyways, Bob is a better person to me because he took the kind route and apologized for hurting their feelings. It's a shame that the youngest person in the room had to be the bigger person, whereas I would have took it to hell and hurt all their feelings even more.
I don't really think it's stupid. I actually think this whole thing is kind of sweet. You get together every year, you build gingerbread houses, you even donate it to a zoo. It's nice. I mean, under that rich loner exterior, you're all a bunch of softies who care about each other.
Bob's speech about them being a weird little family was honestly really sweet. Aside from them all annoying the hell out of me, they are like a weird, rich, out-of-touch family. And somehow this group does perfectly fit together.
I'm the fun one.
It's hard to find people who are on Mr. Fish Odor's level because of how rich he is, and these are the only people that seem equally on his level, in both his insanity and just personality wise. Bob appreciated the community that they all built together, and even if they're all weird, out of touch people, at the very least, they found somewhere to call home. Bob did ruin it though, by adding one too many layers of cheese.
It may sound cheesy, but you know what the greatest gift of all is? Family.
Wow, sounds cheesy.
I'm Calvin's actual family. Just want to point that out.
I found it funny how Felix is just constantly forgotten about. Bob's over here talking about found family in front of Calvin's actual family. I'd be pissed too. Like, do you not see me standing here in front of you? But of course, poor Felix is just always overlooked. But honestly, he also deserves it, so it's hard to really feel that bad for him. Anyways, Calvin suggested that next year that they don't even pick a loser, but the guys shot that down immediately. There had to be a loser, so Calvin lost that battle. But at least he's not the only loser this year. They were all getting ready to leave when they hear singing in front of the house.
What is that awful racket?
We can't spell Christmas without.
Should we shoot them?
That is an insane response to carolers, but honestly, it makes me laugh every time. Bob ends up claiming the prize, and the kids got to cuddle Amity, the albino polar bear. And yes, I'm going to say the entire title is like a pimp named Slickback. You have to say the whole thing every single time. The kids were happy and honestly got the best gift in the universe. I would love to cuddle a bear before it's old enough to maul you.
No wonder the ice caps are melting. This bear is hot.
I changed my mind about having kids. I'm gonna have one and feed it to this bear because I love him so much.
He's so cute, but it'd be really hard to get stains off him.
We then got to see that everyone was actually here, not just the Belcher family. Bob was kind enough to share his prize with everyone, all in the name of the Christmas spirit. Bob is a really sweet soul to even invite them after that whole fiasco. but they were grateful that he invited him and thanked him, so at least they appreciated the gesture. And in a full circle moment, Mr. Fischoeder actually compliments Bob's family in the end.
That family of yours, they're lucky to have you.
Thanks, Mr. Fischoeder.
Okay, now you say something nice about me.
You have pretty...
Sounds like a line, Bob, but Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Fischoeder.
And that is officially the end of the episode. This episode has a lot of different elements that I personally love. For one, it's hilarious and ridiculous. Just the sheer absurdity of a bunch of rich guys having an exclusive gingerbread building competition in order to win a cuddle session with a polar bear is a crazy concept. It's a fun, creative idea for a Christmas episode. We also get an insight on Mr. Fischoeder's family dynamic. Calvin was never taught to value family the same way Bob does. He doesn't understand why someone will want to spend time with their family during the holidays, because that was never a priority with his own family. We also see how he dismisses Felix and rarely acknowledges him or sees him as someone important. And we also see how this makes Felix feel. He feels inferior to Calvin, and he gets jealous of the special attention that Calvin gives to Bob rather than to him, his own brother. It's a dynamic that is expanded on in multiple episodes throughout the show. This is just one example of how that dynamic tends to play out. Calvin getting to do fun things, and Felix has to watch from the sidelines because he's not allowed to participate. It's hard to remember sometimes that Felix is a grown man because he acts like a child rather than an adult. He has serious arrested development. But again, that's for a whole nother time and a whole nother fun time because God, they are crazy. I love the Fischoeder family. They are insane. But the main theme in this episode is the value of spending time with your family. It was only mentioned briefly, but Bob used to build gingerbread houses with his mother around Christmas time. I said this before in a different video, but when it comes to Bob's parents, his mother Lily was the more creative and openly loving one, while his father was more grumpy and a little more stoic. Bob's mom died when he was very young, so those memories of building gingerbread houses with her is a special memory for him. And I think it says a lot about why he chose to marry someone like Linda. Just like Lily went out of her way to do special things with Bob and create memories, Linda also wants to do the same thing with her family. She's not just suggesting going caroling to be annoying, but she wants to create a memory with her children. Linda is always trying to make sure the holidays are special for her family. The memories that Linda is making right now with her children are going to be looked back on fondly like Bob does with his mom. Like the time she made them go up that mountain, they took that amazing family picture, or when they went on that whole adventure to deliver a present for a little boy, or when they spent Christmas in a car being chased by a candy cane truck, or when they spent Christmas with a guy who thought he was a mannequin. These are all childhood memories that the Belchers can build together to one day tell their own kids. In comparison, do you think Calvin or Felix has memories like that? Probably not. But Bob has those memories with his mother, and now Bob's kids will have the same privilege of having these fun stories to keep with them. The parallels between Bob's mom and Linda are what I think give Bob some comfort, and why he doesn't really push back when Linda wants to do something. He recognizes that she wants to do these things for the family. It's not just Linda being selfish and annoying. She wants to create memories for everyone. So even if he doesn't want to personally do it, he's always there to back up her decisions and try his best to also make memories. Because regardless, he's always on her side. And while this episode is very wacky and crazy, I love how family is still the center of it. The contrast between the Fischoeder brothers and the Belcher family just shows us how special the Belchers are as a unit. And in the very end, even Calvin recognized how lucky Bob is to have a family like that, because it's something that he never had himself. And that's what truly makes this episode out to be a gem, because it's able to convey that idea of family while also being insanely funny. And doing both is honestly hard to pull off, and is why this episode is definitely one of my favorite Christmas episodes. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode. It was fun to talk about such a crazy episode for once. I'm definitely going to start incorporating more episodic videos on my channel to balance out the longer ones, but I definitely do want to talk about episodes that do exist more in a vacuum. People have said that they wouldn't mind me covering specific episodes of the show, so I think I'm just going to do that a little bit more often. I hope you guys had fun with this episode and laughed alongside me. I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, and happy holidays. Bye!